Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. For those of you don't know, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alex Shield, and I'm the founder of Alex Shield Design, an interior design firm with a focus on healthy, sustainable interiors. This is the first of my new series, Sustainable Design Chats, where we chat about anything and everything sustainable design, essentially. So I want to speak with other sustainable designers and entrepreneurs who are trying to make a difference in the world. My goal is to promote and support other entrepreneurs and business owners who share the same values, and also to teach you how you can design a healthy, sustainable home. So my first guest is Ciara Jade Dockery. CJ is a set designer who also designs furniture. And I think she's just as passionate about sustainability as I am. And she recently launched her debut furniture line, which is beautiful and stylish and sustainable.
Yeah.
She has put a lot of thought into her designs and the functionality of the pieces, as well as every single material that she's used for these products. So CJ, I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. So tell us about your furniture line. I mean, we can't see it because we're on a live, but describe it to us. Tell us about the materials. Tell us everything.
Yeah. So I created this collection last year around this time. I was going through a lot of changes in my life, and I came to the realization that I wanted to design and build furniture outside of for set design realm for anyone. And I kept coming into the issue of like the materials used. And as I was like researching, trying to live a more green lifestyle, I kept seeing plastic everywhere. And then I started researching more about it, and I was like, well, this is gross. I don't want to breathe in fumes, even if like certain. Anyway, the long and short of it is I couldn't find a company out there that 100% built their furniture with compostable, biodegradable materials. I think there are a lot of companies out there that are starting and doing amazing components and trying to get there. And I was like, well, let's just see what happens if I do the whole thing like this. How crazy could it be? And I also wanted to design a collection that was playful and fun, and to show that you can have sustainable design and it can be fun and it can be chic, and it doesn't necessarily have to be what you have in your head about what sustainable anything looks like. Yeah. So yeah, I started with the base, and with each piece, not every piece contains wood, but the majority of them do. And I started researching. I just kept not assuming anything. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to use plywood for the base of this piece. The tables that I have are plywood. And I was like, you know what, let me just research plywood. Apparently they use formaldehyde-based glue in it, and it's not biodegradable. I did not know that. So luckily there's an alternative out there that uses soy-based glues. It's completely compostable. Its end of life has already been considered. So it just felt like a no-brainer. And then thinking about like wood glue. Okay, what's in wood glue? It's actually plastic. So super handy. I've used it for most of my life for various projects, but I had to find an alternative out there. So yeah, down to every little detail, I was looking for things. The hardest one for me was I have a sheepskin hide stool, and I could not find a strong enough thread to sew it together with. It kept breaking if it was cotton. So for a little while I was like, I guess it's gonna have to be like 99% compostable because I don't know what to do. And then I went back to I found some references for old style upholstery, like pre-industrial age, and they used like linen waxed twines and things like that. You're basically using like a thin rope. So yeah, it was a fun experience to design.
Very
for sure.
Cool. Very cool. So tell us about some of your pieces. So if you check out her website, so ciarajadedockery.com, and we'll leave all the links in the comments. But so you have two really cute poofs. You have a bench. You have these plywood tables. I love that. So you had one of your poofs. I was reading about all the materials and everything, and one of them, actually, I think the poof and the bench, you used vintage fabrics and rugs. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to find ways to also not necessarily only use raw materials, whether or not they're biodegradable, but also try to recycle goods. And so I was playing with that idea, and I knew I wanted to have. I mean, this collection is based on nature, and I wanted things to be like the poof, for example. I based off of one of those little like stickers. I forget what they're called. I think they're called. We used to call them gumballs when I was little, but they're like from a sour gum tree or
Okay.
something like that. They're
Okay.
these little spiky little balls
Yeah.
that if you're barefoot as a kid really hurt.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what's a fabric that will kind of like stick out like it's having a bad hair day? And that's wool flaccati rugs. And so, yeah, quick search on Etsy and eBay and whatever, and you can find tons of people trying to get rid of 50, 60-year-old vintage rugs. And they're not that crazy expensive. So I was like, well, okay, let's play with that. And then the same thing with the bench. I was really curious about mohair velvet, which is a natural fiber. If you look in the right spot, you can find it not backed with plastics, but it's very expensive. And so I was like, okay, what about, do they have mohair rugs? Apparently they do, and they're really freaking cool. And so both of those were really fun also to kind of like figure out how to upholster so that the darts and all of the materials come together in a fun way, because when you see the bench, it's got 8 little chubby little legs, so it's everything's very curving. There's not many straight edges if I can avoid it. So yeah, it was fun to put those together. And then yeah, I've got the cafe, the occasional table, and the coffee table are both like collapsible flat pack.
Which is
um
genius. How did you come up with that idea? Tell me. Why are they collapsible and flat pack? I mean, one, obviously for shipping, it's amazing because you're going to save costs on shipping because you're going to just, you know, pack it up and then put it together.
Exactly.
But what was your main reason for that?
The main reason is because normally I'm upstate right now, but normally I have a very small apartment in New York City, and I don't always have room for a dining table. And I actually came up with this idea in the pandemic because I was like, I have to be inside all day. What are we going to do here? I can't eat breakfast on the floor anymore or on the sofa or whatever. So I designed this table that I could put away if I wanted to, tuck behind a door or whatever. It's great for tiny living.
Yeah.
And they're also chic and beautiful. So yeah, you can bring them out for a party, or if you want to keep them out, keep them out. I'd love for you to keep them out.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So tell us a little bit about you and how you sort of got into this. I know that you kind of touched on it a little bit before, but you also work in set design. So what, like, did that have an impact on sort of how you got into this furniture design?
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I got into set design directly after college, moved to the big city, and I immediately noticed how completely wasteful it is. I mean, even before I had really started my journey of trying to like de-plastic my life as much as possible, it was just like, you build a whole set, make all these walls, and then it goes straight in the trash. Mm-hmm. And like
that hurts my heart.
I know, it's awful. And there are some wonderful programs and groups out there, a lot of them on both coasts, that are really trying to address this problem. And I know the film industry definitely has departments that they're trying to implement to slowly help doing this, but it's a very slow moving wheel, and there's only so much space people have, especially in New York. On this side, I'm part of some of these groups, and like Art Cube, for example, is one of them, and it's for jobs, but it's also for like, hey, we've got these custom set pieces, we've got some old chairs these are going to be thrown away, does anybody want them? And New York City is really good for that. But again, there's only so much space and room and time that people have to come and get these things and breathe new life into them.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, it was frustrating. And I think that's part of the reason that I was like, you know what, I want to try to help this industry as much as I can, but I'm only a tiny cog in that wheel as well. And then looking at my own life and the set that I've built, that's my apartment, the world that I live in. I just wanted it to follow that ethos as much as possible,
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So it was the same for me in the interior design industry when I started seeing the amount of waste and even the packaging and the everything from A to Z. And I was like, no, this can't be the only way. There has to be
Yeah,
a better way to
yeah,
do it. So that's what we're
absolutely.
trying to do.
It's tricky. It's tricky. I've got I co-own a prop house in the city as well, and we're trying to think about it's a very low waste business overall because you're renting furniture for a commercial or a fashion shoot or a TV show or whatever, and then it comes back and it gets reused again, which I love. But even coming down to like the blankets that you use to wrap it because you're constantly moving things, you're wrapping it with shrink wrap, you're
Yeah.
plastic wrapping everything, and
Yeah.
all of that just, yeah, it's really frustrating. The amount of bubble wrap that we go through. I try to reuse as much as possible, but there are better ways out there and we're working on them.
I was working at an interior design firm, and a friend was working there as well, and he would wrap all the accessories. Right, we would check all the accessories once they came in, and we would wrap them up and make sure they wouldn't break in transport on the way to the client's house and that kind of thing. And I was always like, okay, wrap it so that we can reuse the bubble wrap. And he would just look at me like, what? Like, are you crazy? What? And I'm like, no, really, let's reuse the bubble wrap. Why not? I don't understand.
What's wrong
Saves
with it?
money, like. But yeah, I think in some ways we're getting there, but there's obviously still a lot of work to be done.
And it's hard too because I don't want to be like this like militant anti-plastic person that's like, stop that, what are you doing? Sort of thing. I want to try to be like cool, like lead by example,
Yeah.
but also you see what you're doing?
Yeah, yeah. But also, I just want to tell you, yeah.
It's a hard balance.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Okay, so tell us how we can find you, how we can find your products.
Yeah, so I recently did a trade show with Shop Object in New York City, and so they're hosting my site. If you're a business or a designer, they're hosting me for several more months on Shop Object. So if you're registered there, you can see me there. Otherwise, you can find me at my Instagram, Ciara Jade Dockery, or my website, ciarajadedockery.com.
Okay, amazing. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will add, so this video will be posted for those who weren't able to watch it live, and I will add in there your website, your Instagram, your Shop Object site, and yeah. I wish you all the best of luck. Keep us up to date on all your new projects.
Will do. Thanks, Alex.
Okay, take care. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.